Hey everybody, I'm Jermaine Morgan and you're watching Jermaine Morgan TV. In today's lesson, I'm going to deal with two things. I'm going to deal with placement and feel. This is actually going to be a two-part lesson, and so that means the other half of this you're going to be able to catch next week. So please stay tuned. We're going to jump right into it. So the first thing I want to dive off into is dealing with placement. So in the other lessons, if you've been keeping up with me or you've seen any of my other lessons, you know I've taught you several licks, and the licks are very important. I'll say they're very important into building your vocabulary as a bass player or as an instrumentalist, just so you'll have that stuff to pull from if you ever want to go there. But two of the things I think that's key foundation in being a bass player is being able to have a good groove and being able to have good placement, and groove and feel kind of go hand in hand with each other. So being able to have that good feel when you play, that's something that's going to definitely keep you working as a bass player, especially if you're playing the role of holding the bottom down. I know nowadays there are a lot more solo bass players, and so there are a lot more areas for the bass to be other than just playing the meat and potatoes of the song. So, but if you're holding down the groove, if you're holding down the foundation, it's very important to have that placement and to have a nice feel. So one of the first things that I want to deal with as it relates to having good placement is just placement is basically knowing for a definition's sake, placement is basically knowing where to put stuff. The problem that we have nowadays with there being so much information available as to building your vocabulary, you're now tempted to try this stuff everywhere in the song, and sometimes it just simply doesn't work. And even more than that, you end up as a bass player getting in the way of other musicians in the band, and it's very important to listen to what's going on so that you don't step on other toes when you're playing as a bass player. I've had the opportunity of being a professional bass player for some time now, and I've actually been playing for one of the largest churches in Atlanta for over 9 years almost. So with that being said, I've been able to play with some incredible musicians and learn so much from the musicians, because these guys play on stages with everybody in the industry. So I'm constantly learning from playing with these guys. And one of the biggest things I think I've learned is not so much about licks and chops and all that kind of thing, but actually being able to find your space and find your moments and pick your places. And all of that helped me to develop my placement. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of demonstrate with this track just so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. The first 8 bars is going to be the first verse. The second 8 bars will be the chorus. The third 8 bars will be the second verse, and the fourth set of 8 bars will be the second chorus. So here we go. repeat the chorus. So this kind of gives you an idea of kind of how to structure the song out a little bit. Obviously, this is an example, and this is not rule of thumb for every single song. But the way that I like to approach the songs as it relates to my placement is I like to kind of spread it out and treat the song as if it's building, as if I'm walking up a set of stairs, that kind of thing. And the song is kind of growing gradually. That's the type of approach that I like to take with the song. So it's very rare that I will open up in the beginning of the song, just kind of going for blood, so to speak. I like to spread out everything that I'm doing, so that gives the song room to grow. I'm paying attention to what the vocals are saying, how they are singing. I'm paying attention to how the drummer is playing, how the keyboard and the guitar player are playing, and I'm building off that intensity. Obviously, when you get into a song like this with just say a click track, it's a little bit more harder to do because it's pretty much at the same level for the entire song. So mentally, you have to be thinking kind of like I was doing just there. You kind of have to map it out in your head and just know that the song is going to gradually build and be able to kind of anticipate that as a bass player and make sure that your intensity in a live situation is matching the intensity of the band, and make sure you're not overpowering throughout the entire song. Because what I don't want to do with teaching you these licks and chops and that kind of thing and the riffs that we're learning, I don't want to create a monster, so to speak, and we're playing this stuff over everything, and it's like, oh, look at me, I know a new chop, and you're playing over everybody in the band. And at this point, you're not really adding anything to the band. You're just kind of getting in the way of everybody and taking away from the actual song. I just say, make sure you're tuning into everything that's going on around you and pay attention. Make sure you're trying to kind of listen for the whole song, make this whole song build, and not giving everything away. Save some, save the good stuff for the latter part of the song. Don't open up in the beginning giving them all the good stuff. Kind of save some stuff for them, and I think that will make you an all-around better foundation bass player, if you will, and it definitely will get you more calls because when you get into studio situations, that's the kind of thing that they're looking for. Players that can kind of know the right placement, know the right things to put in the right places. You basically know what to do at the right time, and that's the type of players we're working to become. And if we become some solo players, we learn a few licks and a few chops along the way that help to build our vocabulary, that's all good. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we support the band, and it's not just an individual movement of bass players, but we're actually supporting the band and making sure that the music is first. Not our playing, but the music is actually first. So check it out. If you've enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, head over to JermaineMorgan.net. Matter of fact, if you ain't subscribed, head over to JermaineMorgan.net and check out the content that's available there. I got something for you bass players. If you subscribe to the mailing list right now, there's something, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but there's something waiting for you if you sign the mailing list right now. It's exclusively on JermaineMorgan.net. You're not going to find it on YouTube. So please go, hurry up and do that. Sign up now, and I'll see you on the next lesson in part 2. We're going to be digging more into field. So if you would, check out my last video, and please subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys on next week. I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Peace.